This is Mike Evans, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the universe, this is RosterWatch. My name is Alex Dunlap. I'm here with Cody Carpentier, and Cody, it's a big day, a big show, our big fantasy draft show here on YouTube and on X. So pumped to have all you guys here with us for a weekend edition of the show. We knew we had to have some weekend editions of the show because, man, we've been talking you through every weekend of your fantasy football drafts for the last 14 years, and we're not going to stop now. So we want to make sure that we have everything completely dialed in. The cheat sheets are updated. They've been updated maniacally. They've been tested maniacally. We're up to version 4.1 on PPR, 3.1 on Superflex, and 2QB up to version 2. What do you want on half point and standard?
2.2, but I'll be honest, I've already tested like 12 times, 13 tests in the last like half an hour. So I think during the show, we're going to get 2.3 up.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here doing, man. We're here just to make sure we're keeping up with these ADPs, making sure that there's been things that have shifted. And Cody, one thing I wanted to talk to you about just as we first get started here is something that's a bit of a, maybe this is a little bit meta for everybody, but you guys let us know, man. You guys can steer the conversation here in the chat if you have questions. We have the chat pulled up. So good to see everybody. Steel Bill, John in Cedar Park, Tim Sermons, Wonder Wes. We have Minion Hunter showing up. So good to see you, Minion Hunter. Frozen State Productions, Kip C, Ryan Cania, NFL Youngest GM. Thanks so much to all you guys for being here. Send us chats if you have questions. If you want them to go right to the top, you can send super chats. Most importantly, we just thank you guys for being pro members at rosterwatch.com. Cody, what I've started doing with these tests on PPR, and you and I have discussed it, it's not as big a deal in standard and 0.5 PPR. It's these cockamamie experts on Fantasy Pros are rating these wide receivers much higher than they're being taken right now, as far as the ADPs on the big sites like Yahoo, Sleeper, ESPN, CBS, where a lot of these drafts are going to be taking place. And what I noticed was whenever you take the experts' consensus off of the draft simulator over on Fantasy Pros, it turns out these drafts were skewing super duper wide receiver heavy. And so I went and looked at the trends and the data from each site and checked their ADPs. And I saw, well, God, that's because the thing happens every year. And I remember this every year, that around this time when the drafts really start happening, and that's now, right? When they really start happening, what happens is the home league drafters just draft running backs earlier. They just do. And so for the PPR, so the PPR sheet yesterday going from version 4.0 to version 4.1, I spent Thursday night doing it. I spent all Friday doing it. I woke up early this morning to make sure it was going to be done in time for the show. I had to manually update it to test number 21, right? Which is and that's not just me running 21 simulations. That's me running,
iterations of the simulation.
That's like me running the simulation like 8 times, like 96 times over 21 times, right? So it's a lot of. It took me to test 21. The good news was when I turned my mind to Superflex, it only took me like 4 tests because I kind of had it figured out and dialed into where some of these guys were going. So I know that it's not the same issue with standard and 0.5, and that's why you could get it up a little bit sooner. But just wanted to let everybody know that's kind of why it was until this morning for all the stuff with PPR and with Superflex. It was just the drafters, they're just taking. Cody, there are some of these where it's like I've just watched the actual, looked in on live drafts, looked in on live mocks and stuff, and these people are taking like Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry and stuff at like first round. And in PPR, that's not happening in these simulations. It's just not. So we're having to take a step back, and there were some definite structural changes to version 4.1 of PPR, version 3.1 of Superflex. So if you've downloaded those before and you have drafts today, make sure that you Byron is sending us texts when he knows that we're live on the show. He knows I don't know how to turn. He knows I don't have to turn off my notifications on my computer.
I think everybody knows that. And sometimes I'll be honest with you, Alex, I don't think about it, but then sometimes I'm like, Alex is live. I'm going to reply now. Especially when you're on orange.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have a question here from on the cheat sheet from Eric Rush. He says, "Do y'all account for players' injury risk on the sheet? Example: T. Higgins, Kittle, etc. It seems like they're always banged up." Yeah, man. I mean, we take it all into account. We do. Now, for guys like, here's the thing. I think that that's another thing with the simulations and with the grades you get on these simulations. A couple of things have happened that are, it's kind of interesting to me. I've noticed that the grades I'm getting right now, with the sheet feeling as dialed in as it is, the grades that I'm getting right now aren't quite as good because I've made some changes that I don't feel like the expert consensus at Fantasy Pros is really caught up with.
Yeah.
One of the things was I'm not moving off Christian McCaffrey at the end of the first round of these drafts. We're talking about a guy. I mean, when he's healthy, he's been unstoppable. And of course, we have to factor in the health considerations, all the rest of it, like Eric was asking. But at some point, you have to say, like, well, but he's healthy now, and he's as healthy as he's been. And Brandon Ayuk's hurt, and Juwan Jennings still isn't practicing, and all the rest of this stuff. You're talking about a team that, if you look at the strength of schedule tool over at RosterWatch, Cody, I don't have it memorized, but I think it's the easiest strength of schedule for opposing running backs. Is that right? Yeah. So the easiest strength of schedule for opposing running backs Christian McCaffrey faces this year. And that, of course, is not just looking at fantasy points allowed from last season. That's looking at our proprietary metrics that our pro members have access to on the strength of schedule charts. That includes things like projected game scripts, projected, implied team totals. It takes into account the number of dome games. It takes into, and most importantly, it just takes into account our scouting and evaluation grades from seeing all these guys through the college process and keeping up with their analytical profiles and knowing who the group is that's going to be either defending against the run, covering against the pass, rushing the passer, all the rest of that, right? It all goes into it. It's like 20% of last 10 weeks of last season schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed, but it's like only a 20% portion of it. If you look at San Francisco, their first week at Seattle is not the best, but then they go at New Orleans, at home versus Arizona, at home versus Jacksonville. We'd like to get off to a fast start at Roster Watch, and that's just to start the season. That's 3 top 8 matchups out of the first 4 weeks, and then they continue throughout the whole course of the season. There are some tough ones mixed in there, but those are all things we have to take all these things into consideration. It's not just the injury history and stuff. But if you do drafts and you do the simulations on the Fantasy Pros mock draft simulator, what happens is the ones where you take McCaffrey, you get bad grades. And like with those, I just don't care. I'm just like, man, these snooty experts, they would rather you take like, a Puka Nacua or a Brian Thomas or something like that over a healthy Christian McCaffrey in PPR, and I'm not going to do it. The other thing is, speaking of the snooty expert consensus, the grades are getting worse because I've had to move Vlad McConkey down, and I don't think that anybody else is worried. Are you, like, you and I haven't had this conversation, but shouldn't we be at least a little bit worried about Vlad McConkey, who's been hurt his whole career? And speaking of injury histories, his is lengthy going back to college. Was he healthy for one full season at Georgia?
Maybe one. I think he wasn't even healthy the last full year. I mean, I'll just be quite frank with you. I said I didn't like him like 2 weeks ago, and you and Trashman both told me I was cocking him.
Well, that was before the Keenan Allen.
No, that was the Keenan Allen.
Okay.
That was the whole Keenan Allen conversation. I said, I think this guy's going to come in. Lad McConkey himself.
It wasn't 2 weeks ago then.
I proved I could play outside, and that's what Lad said.
That was earlier this week.
Yes, but then the week before that was when Keenan signed, was late last week, right? And anyway, you mesh it together is we haven't heard positivity from Trey Harris. Keandre Lambert-Smith has been the guy sounds like he's been having a better camp than Trey Harris, who's a 5th rounder versus a 2nd rounder. Quentin Johnston, for some reason, is just still in Jim Harbaugh's armpit of being favorite. Obviously, they brought back Mike Williams before he retired. Now they bring back Keenan Allen. Like it's like flashing red lights at us. Like, we aren't happy with our receiving core, and we're ignoring it. And I think Ladd's great, but Ladd is 180 pounds and he's not, your prototypical alpha of a wide receiver, nor has he ever been. And yes, he had a great rookie year, but I get Ladd. I get Ladd on the standard and half sheet. Right now, I have him right next to Chase Brown as far as the running backs go. At
You have him on the same line as Chase Brown?
Yeah, he's wide receiver 11. And I'm getting Ladd. Not getting too much of Ladd, but I'm getting Ladd. And it comes kind of by way of this area in standard and half where it goes Puka. This other sheet is organized. I have Puka below consensus on the sheet, but so it goes Puka, AJ Brown, who's dealing with a hamstring injury now, Ladd McConkey, Jackson Smith-Njigba, who I personally love. I've moved him down in Dynasty, though, because I don't know how to feel about the Seattle wide receiver core, the Seattle offense, Ken Walker's injuries. Then you got T. Higgins, who always has his injury question marks. He's not the number one in the offense. Then you got Garrett Wilson, who's got his own Justin Fields situation. And you got Tyreek Hill, who's got his own. Like, it's just a whole area at wide receiver where it feels like you just de facto put Ladd McConkey at the top of that group.
Okay. To me, I feel like, man, did you see JSN? Was that on Thursday that they played or was that last night? It all comes together.
I think it was Thursday.
Seen him on the sidelines. He was they were doing the cockamamie, like local media does their the local radio guy or the
mid-play
in this case do the interviews with the stars on the sidelines that aren't really playing. And dude, she was like, God, like you put on, you put on. She's obviously around the team a lot. She's like, you put on some weight, dude. Like, how much weight have you put on? He's like, you'll have to ask them. I think I put on like 10 pounds. JSN just really looks good. I've always loved JSN. At this point, man, I had to make the decision between JSN and Ladd McConkey. I got JSN ahead of Ladd for now. I just worry, what if Keenan Allen does come in and just get like, what's the minimum number of targets that he's going to get if he stays healthy? It's
thank you. 70?
No,
75, 80?
I was going to say 80.
That's the area.
I figured, if he's healthy, like stays relatively healthy. Like, say, I was just thinking if he plays 16 games, he's probably gonna get 5. He's going to get 5 targets a game,
which is just, in a non-pass happy offense, it's a lot.
It's worrisome, dude. And an offense where they and I know the Chargers have lost Rashawn Slater and the running game they might not. But here's the dude, you still have Joe Alt. It's there's still a good offensive line. They're gonna want to run the football. They've told us that by what they went out and did in free agency with acquiring Najee, and now of course that's all still up in the air. Do you know whether he progressed anything from more than what he did on Thursday, where he was just going through practice holding a football? Did he get
there was a report on, I wrote it down here. On Tuesday was the last report that I had that he was participating in drills for the first time in training camp. I didn't see one on Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay. Well, look, man, I just think that whenever you consider, Ladd, and then I understand that with JSN, let me sort this sheet real quick and just kind of look at where we're kind of looking here with them. Ladd last year was objectively, as far as what he was doing from a scoring distribution standpoint, was simply better as far as the monster games versus the busts and all the rest of that. But if you just look at it from, the best of Jackson Smith-Njigba, right, and what we're projecting for this year with the downgrade to Cooper Kupp, the fact, man, that it looks like MVS just looks as terrible as we ever thought that he would. I don't see how in PPR, I just don't see how the offense goes through him. And certainly I think of JSN as I think you would agree we'd love Ladd coming out, but we certainly think of JSN as a whole other level of prospect. So I got JSN over Ladd, and it has to do with now the fact that I've always been worried about whether or not he could stay healthy for a whole season. And this stuff, it's like that. What are they going to play him outside? They're not. Are they going to play Keenan outside?
No, they can't. You can't. Well, you can't play.
Keenan played some outside last year, but he looked.
And how'd that go?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess that's right. All right, so we got some questions to get to. Oh, there was another question that somebody had on the comments yesterday, asking if he can use the Superflex cheat sheet in PPR, and I'm like, of course you can. I tested in half point PPR and PPR. Like, actually, I'll answer some of these questions, then I'll dial up a PPR Superflex mock here using version 3.1. Let's see, Mike Yee. He asks, is AJ Brown still a second round pick with the hammy issue? From what I've heard with this stuff, this is I'm viewing this like I'm viewing Justin Jefferson, and I'm just kind of closing my ears to it, and I'm saying I'm not going to be worried about this because they've talked about this being maintenance related. Do you feel any differently about that?
I feel like every year that we get a little bit of AJ Brown hamstring issue and he just continues to fight through it, he continues to end up with a couple of games that are like 140-2. He continues to play through hamstring injuries, and it always ends up not being the biggest issue. Will he miss a game? Maybe. Will he miss 2 or 3? Potentially. Is it going to nuke your season? No. It's still AJ Brown.
Okay. I think we kind of feel the same way. I think he's definitely a second round pick and a solid one right now.
But like right in that tier though, like you still keep him ahead of Jason and Ladd. I think he's just like
he's right there. He's right there in the same bucket. And to be honest, it's exactly where I start considering Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
it makes it a little bit tough. Now the simulators, they're not going to like your draft quite as much because to me it's like I see a difference, but I don't see I don't see the chasm of difference between, say, AJ Brown and taking a George Pickens or something later, as I see taking Brock Bowers versus taking like one of these later, Evan Ingram or something like this later. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so that's on the cheat sheet. That's where I built it into where you can have that choice if you're comfortable doing it. Speaking of tight ends, how would you adjust the mythical sheets for tight end premium 1.5 PPR? I would just say this. It's a good question. And we've toyed with making a tight end premium one before for FFPC, and maybe we'll do that next year. But don't take the mid round guys. Okay. If you're going to do it, bump up Brock Bowers to around where you would be taking guys like Nico Collins, bump up Trey McBride to just under that where you'd be taking guys like Drake London or Brian Thomas. And then as far as from there on, there are a few guys at the end of these drafts that I really, really love. Cody's into Mark Andrews. I would bump him.
Njoku.
Njoku's right there in that pocket too. To some degree, Travis Kelce, he's a little bit ahead of those guys. But those are kind of more mid-round, and those are guys where the opportunity cost, I feel like, is just, man, there's so much good through the mid-rounds of these drafts. I really like the idea of taking guys like Tucker Kraft, Kyle Pitts.
Crafting's tough. Well, I guess not anymore. The injuries just keep stacking up there. What about your guy Hunter Henry?
Well, dude, Hunter Henry is an incredible pick, dude. He's going as what, tight end 22 right now?
Yeah,
if you look at so he's going as tight end 22. If you look at Hunter Henry with Drake May last year, he was just as Drake May games. And we want to buy into these offenses where it's like, could this tight end be a legitimate number 2 option in the passing game? And I'm not sure now with Travion Henderson coming on that Hunter Henry is going to be the number 2 option, but it's like it's why I don't really want to take TJ Hawkinson. I think he'll be fine for the first 3 weeks, but when a team has a Justin Jefferson and a Jordan Addison, I don't want to take Dallas. I hate playing Dallas Goedert. I don't want to play you know what I mean? AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I don't ever want a Bengals guy, right? Stuff like this. An ascending young quarterback, maybe looks. I think Diggs looks awesome for the Patriots, but I don't think that anybody like Kyle Williams or anybody like this is going to come in and take over. I just think that he has a chance to maybe be the number 2 target earner. And then you look at the stats with Drake May last year. He was going as tight end 22, tight end 13 in fantasy points per game last year with Drake May, tight end 10 in expected fantasy points per game, Tight end 9 in fantasypoints.com's first read percentage. Tight end 10 in target percentage, 18.3% target share. Tight end 7 in air yard share, 19.3%. So, I mean, we're looking at 9.18 points per game whenever Drake May played versus 5.84 whenever he didn't play. And you get guys coming in there who are great. Travion Henderson's a great pass protector. He's not going to have to stay in to chip and help it quite as much. You got guys like Mac Hollins on the outside. They're going to be awesome stock blockers. I think it frees Hunter Henry up a lot. So I really like him. I like Kyle Pitts, dude. I mean, we had the text chain the other day with Byron about Kyle Pitts, and I'd be moving all those guys up to the general area where you're taking your running back 4s, and that's how I would use the mythical cheat sheets in 0.5 PPR. We have who is Trashman predicting to be this year's Tank Dell? We'll have to ask Trashman next week. He wasn't able to make the show this week.
You did a video on Jimmy Horn Jr. this last week. You can go check it out after the show on the channel.
Trashman. Why does Trashman love? Gosh, how does he know? If Jimmy Horn Jr. Oh, man. Okay. Jimmy Horn Jr.
But
for the Carolina Panthers. Let's see here. We got a keeper question. Matt Cassidy, thanks for tuning in, dude. Keeper question. 2 keeper, full PPR, 8th overall pick. Does it make sense to keep Barkley 1st round versus Henry 3rd round, or other keeper Daniels 9th round? Any worry about Terry McLaurin? So Terry McLaurin is coming off the physically unable to perform list today. He's going to have to play. And his demand, Cody, his salary demands are cockamamie, dude. Cockamamie. What his agent needs to do is take Cortland Sutton's contract in there, walk it in, set it down on the table, and say, "Give me this thing." Right? He can't.
And a couple bucks.
He can't be taking Garrett Wilson's and saying, "Give me this thing," which is reportedly what he's doing.
Yeah,
and he's 6 years older, I think.
Yes.
25 and 31.
I can't remember. I tweeted it out like 2 weeks
right.
ago. I can't remember what the number was exactly, but it was.
As far as the question, I think with the 8th pick, I would take Barkley. I would take Barkley with the 8th pick. I would take him with the 4th.
You would?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2 keepers. Yeah. Barkley and Henry, then, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say if you had to pick one, I'd pick. If you had to pick one, I would take Henry.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do, man. Let's see. This Eric Rutch has another question. Great answer. Thanks. Another one. Hard Knocks is making. Oh God, we got a Hard Knocks question. Making Josh Palmer seem like the next Lynn Swann. Well, that's what Byron thinks.
Well, dude, the last week, I think Elijah Moore got a little dinged up. Khalil Shakir's obviously been banged up. It's sounded like Josh Palmer's been the most consistent. And like we've heard stuff from Coleman, we've heard stuff from almost everybody, but it seems like the beat has been that quiet beat that Palmer's kind of been the most consistent the last week and a half or so. Is he draftable? No.
I don't take him because with my 14th pick, if I'm going wide receiver, I would rather take Christian Kirk. Is that cockamamie?
No, I like the Christian Kirk stuff. I think Christian Kirk's one of the most underrated wide receivers in fantasy going into this year because everyone kind of like overlooks him. They see Jaden Higgins. Obviously, they love Nico Collins. This offensive line stinks, and Jalen Noel's obviously there, but they kind of forget that Christian Kirk is there, and forget how valuable Christian Kirk is. Like he got cut from Jacksonville because his contract was nuts, right? And was he living up to it? No, he's been banged up. I went down there a year ago to watch Jacksonville's training camp, and he was just kind of like there. They have Parker Washington, who they like. They go out and, draft Travis Hunter, and like they just took a different angle to this offense. Like Christian Kirk still got another year or two in his body, like to play at a respectable. If you're drafting Keenan Allen, you should be drafting Christian Kirk. How about that? That's pretty easy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, Christian Kirk's a great player, and he gets to come back to Texas. Here's a question. I'm not sure exactly what this means. Do you know what this means, Cody, from Scott Angus? Do Cody and Alex each have their own cheat sheet or their rankings averaged together?
So Alex does the Superflex cheat sheet and the PPR cheat sheet. I do the half and standard. They're all up at rosterwatch.com, and we don't average everything together. We just talk about it on the show. We talk about our differences and how we have guys, but we just respectively do our own sheets all on rosterwatch.com. It's not
using the same methodology that I've
correct.
Not that I've taught Cody, but that I is our process.
No, you've
right.
You've been doing the cheat sheets for 15 years. I've been doing them for three, whatever. But like I've been in fantasy, so it's like it's a different style of drafting, of ranking, of projecting, of conversing over it. And I think that's what makes the show so good, is that we do two different sheets that are built the same way, but they come out with different results. Like the Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk conversation. Like in the previous weeks, we've had Jaden Higgins a little bit higher, but Christian Kirk comes up, and that's these are conversations.
It's funny how things, whenever we get to these weekends coming up, and this isn't the biggest draft weekend, but it's kind of tied for the second biggest, right? So, it's like maybe the third biggest, but I kind of think it's tied for the second biggest.
And just so people know that are watching along, this isn't going to be the only big fantasy draft show. We're going to be live next Saturday at noon, and then the following Friday as well. So there's going to be 3 big shows here on the channel and on X, and you'll be able to get them on podcasts too. But this isn't just the only big show we're doing.
Yeah, for sure, man. But as I've said, it's funny how it's always this week that things come and smack you in the face, and they come into focus, and you're like, every year you're like, I just need to make one of those like notes like you and I make in our coming into the draft. It's like, don't get swindled by the late news and screw up your mock draft for the whole huddle report contest. I don't want to make one that says like, dude, things are about to change. Like, make sure you're checking the ADPs of the drafts that are actually happening now, because they aren't getting captured with these rolling ADP changes. These things spike massively over the course of like a day or two, and one of them is Quinshon Judkins. And I just wanted to ask you about him and sort of what you think about him. I saw a tweet earlier from the Fantasy Life channel, or the Fantasy Life X account, wherever they were interviewing Zach Jackson from the Akron News. Zach Jackson. We see him at the combine I think he's from the Akron News, or is he with Mary Kay Cabot in them? I don't know. But he was saying, don't expect to see Quinshon until October, yada, yada, yada. And he's saying like, it's just, he hasn't been here to play. But then again, he was saying, which I don't necessarily agree with, but he's like, Dylan Sampson's tiny. He can't run between the tackles, which maybe he's been at camp and he says that's true. I mean, I've watched him in the SEC run between the tackles and look dominating and sick and take over football games. But he's saying, and Jerome Ford's not good between the tackles either. So they need him, but it's going to take him the rest of training camp plus an extra month to get ready. I'm just like, well, that seems like a lot of projection. He's not even talking about the possibility of a suspension. And then we have Drew Davenport, who's one of these Twitter lawyers. He's saying, and this guy, believe it or not, he's an actual lawyer, and he's actually been pretty good at like figuring out these cases and everything. Like, he showed all this stuff with the Mixon case. He's like, the reason why they declined prosecution on this is because there's a bunch of evidence on both sides here, and there's no way that they're going to get a conviction. He said, will the NFL look into it? Of course, but based on just the findings of the court down there in Florida, he said, I just don't see how there's any. He's like, the NFL can do what they do, but I don't see there's any way that the NFL can do anything about this. There's countervailing evidence on both sides to where it's a very unclear case. So I think that the responsible thing to do is probably just kind of just add in him missing 3 games from one or the other, something. And then if you get him in week 1, great. I mean, gosh, there was talk just yesterday that they're going to try and get him ready for the final preseason game. If they get him ready for the final preseason game, he's going to play week 1. So that's one where it's like, well, so where does he slot in now? And you and I both talked about it yesterday, and without even speaking about it, we just did it on the show, and we're like, well, we both had him at running back 30. I think that's right. Although on both of the sheets, I have moved him up since then to running back 29. I like getting Quinshawn. I think you need to get him as you need to draft him as a player that's going to be on your bench. I think that's reasonable. As long as he's on your bench, you can take him, and I think it's smart to take him.
So there's 6 games today kicking off here at the top of the hour. One of them is the Browns at the Eagles, and Daniel Oyefusi, who covers the Browns for ESPN, just tweeted out the list of not expected to play players, including rookies: Carson Schweichinger, the linebacker, Mason Graham, Dylan Sampson, and Harold Fannin Jr., who he writes all won't play after getting extended run during joint practices with the Eagles. All are primed for starting or significant roles. The only running backs not expected to play today are Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford, who's dealt with his own ankle injury so far this fall. So now, one thing I will say, Alex, and we know this as good as anybody, and when you're talking about evaluating practice and evaluating players in practice, I might not lean into believing what a beat writer says about how they view.
You shouldn't listen to a bunch of them because they're not football people. They're
there to do journalistic things, reporting on the stuff. So when Daniel Oyefusi says he's not going to play and Ford's not going to play, and he says that Schweichinger, Graham, Sampson, and Fannin got extended run this week, which is not analysis, it's a fact. They got extended run, and all are primed for starting or significant roles. Sounds like a fact, not a analysis. I'm going to believe that. And like I said, we like you said, we both believe in Dylan Sampson. 1,400 yards at Tennessee last year. Even though he's right there at the 205 pound mark, we've seen success at that size, including the most dynamic player on a yards per touch basis the last 3 years in Mr. Devon Achane. So I know he's a different speed guy, but I have full belief in Dylan Sampson. Now, with the Quinshawn thing being said, I mean, that's just going to be a day-by-day type of situation that we have to continue to monitor.
We got a bunch of questions, but we're going to get to this one first. It's a super chat from Frizzle. Thank you, brother. Just no question. He's just saying keep up the good work. Well, we appreciate you, man. Thank you all so much. And the best way to thank us for the good work, of course, we love the super chat, but the best way is to go click that QR code over there. Just go to RosterWatch.com. I'm sure that there's a link below in the YouTube description where you can go to get a RosterWatch Pro subscription. It's like $9.99, and it makes a world of difference to us. We're independent, a small independent business. We do this completely on our own. We don't have the backing of any big corporations or any big companies. We never have. Kind of never want. I don't really want to. I like having our community of people and being able to do what we want and be able to, be supported by you guys to be able to, go to the combine and the Senior Bowl and the training camp tour and all the rest of it and create these tools and have this community. And so we love having you be part of it. But this is our business. This is these shows are kind of like membership drives, man. We got to get some new members. And so think about it like one of those old telethons. We see the signups coming in, man. We really, really appreciate it. Go to rosterwatch.com, get a pro membership, and we're going to be there for you the whole season long, answering your questions and giving you personalized advice just in the comment section of the different pro things that we'll do for sit start and all the rest of it. Plus all the extra tools, the waiver wire tool, the DFS cheat sheets, the hyper DFS generator. We're going to have this thing called hyper picks this year, I guess. It's going to give you the prize picks and underdog just slips that we like. We hit at 62% last year on those. So make sure and go check it all out. It's more content than I can even go into. Rosterwatch.com. Okay. We're going to get to some more of these, but I did want to, I got this thing cranked up because somebody asked yesterday about whether they can use the Superflex cheat sheet in PPR. And so I made this one in PPR. It gave me the pick from the second spot. And I'll just show you. I tested in half PPR and PPR both. So this one is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 super flex, 1 defense, 1 kicker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bench spots. So it goes 101 is Lamar Jackson. So the 102 I'll go Josh Allen. And then with the second pick, with my next pick here, let's see. I'll go with. Should I take Nico? I'll take Nico Collins, and then Brian Thomas, The reason why I took Nico Collins over Devon Achane there is because in PPR, I realize it's PPR, and maybe that's one difference is maybe lean a little bit if there's a tie at the top, maybe lean towards the wide receiver. I think this thing could go sideways. You never know. Going a little sideways, at least here to start. Let's see what happens. Tyreek Hill at the 411.
I mean, that's a pretty frothy wide receiver core right there.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara at the 502. Oh, bang! All right. Travion Henderson at the 611. So look at that. RJ Harvey or Xavier. I think I'm gonna go Harvey, right?
I think you gotta get that third running back.
I want in these where you have to start two running backs only. Really, I think you can get by with. I mean, you can get by with three if they're good, but I think ultimately you don't want any less than four of either running back or wide receiver, even with this short a bench. If you're going to be going for 2 to 3 quarterbacks here, which of course we need at least 2, but I like to sometimes get 3 and sometimes 4. Let's go with Harvey. All right, 8-11. We're going to take Jordan Addison, which 0% of experts would do, oddly. It's just okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the 8-9th turn, you're not going to take Jordan Addison's a sick pick this year. Travis Etienne at the 902 is who I'll take just to keep it even here. We're going to take Matthew Golden, who the experts are telling me to take Jaden Blue, who's got an ADP that's 37 spots later.
That's interesting. Byron will be happy if you take Golden here.
I'm taking Golden and Blue will fall. Oh, he won't fall.
Or Ibuka. We'll take Ibuka too. I like that. I mean, that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is fine.
Shouldn't I take Penix and just get my second quarterback?
Oh, you got Penix offered. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't realize that Penix was an offer.
Okay, so now I have a choice between Geno Smith and David Njoku at the 12-13 turn.
Give me the Chief.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Njoku because I think Geno is my quarterback 3 will fall. Yes, he does. So I take Geno at the 1302, and then what do I have here at the end? I basically have a choice between quarterback 4, Christian Kirk, or Woody Marks.
You're not going to play. I mean, I guess Kirk. I think. Ooh.
I'm not going to play Christian Kirk when I have.
Yeah, you are because you have Addison on suspension for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You got Tyreek Hill question mark.
Yeah.
And I just there's a little bit of volatility. I think Christian Kirk gives you some safety.
All right, take Christian Kirk. So here's that team. Again, this is a PPR team using the Superflex cheat sheet in a 12-team league. This team is sick, dude. Josh Allen is the quarterback, but Superflex options of Michael Penix and Geno Smith. The running backs are Alvin Kamara, Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Travis Etienne. The wide receivers are Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, and Christian Kirk. The tight end is David Njoku. Again, for this show, I don't care, Cody, as much about the grades that it gives me because the grades have been cockamamie. But I'm going to auto draft a kicker and defense. I bet you if this isn't a good grade, I mean,
93.
Dude, this should be like a 98. Let's just see though. 97. So yeah, I mean that one was obviously really good. But see, those were guys that the simulator always likes, right? They're going to be some of these where we take a McCaffrey, we take a Barkley, we take a JSN over a Ladd, and they just for some reason the grades haven't been quite as good. But I think that the cheat sheet's actually been better. Of course, the ultimate draft cheat sheet over at RosterWatch.com. Okay. There was a couple other questions here that we needed to get to. There's a bunch of these, dude.
Well, if you scroll through and you like one, you make sure you pin it so we can go to the pin stuff.
Okay.
I
So
did see one from.
there was one that said that he had the first pick or something like that.
Oh, Frizzle.
Wait, somebody said, Cody, do you sprinkle in? Okay. On first pick and just got to the 212 turn. For some reason, the person in front of me took Breece Hall over JT and Kyron Williams. Well, good for you, dude. Do I take both JT and Kyron? So is it PPR? If it's PPR, take take.
I mean, dude, I just
I
ran
would
a.
take. I would take. I would take JT and Chase Brown. Is Chase Brown gone?
Well, he said JT and Kyron, so that means Chase. I mean, Chase is right there.
Yeah.
In this sim, I just got done running right now. I started out Chase, Njoku, or sorry, not Njoku. Jesus, Chase, Smith and Jigba, McConkey. Chase Brown went 211. Carwin was also right here as an option. I don't know how this is going to finish.
I would say, I would tell Frizzle, man, I'm not sure if it's going to be an option for you, but I would definitely take Chase Brown over those dudes. Cody's already in here. Cody, you're in here testing version 2.2. Just lock.
Yeah. So if you were to do that, kind of what your roster might look like if you took the Ladd and JSN route, which would give you Jamar Chase, Ladd, and JSN. You would have those three. You could get them. You could end up with a Montgomery and a Pacheco in the 5th and 6th. Caleb Johnson the 7th, Quinshawn the 8th. I mean, you could make it work, but I do think taking a running back in JT or Kyron. I feel like I would split this, right? I would take one running back, one receiver. I don't know if I would generally want to double dip into one.
He starts out with Jamar Chase, and I think he's going to be able to get all kinds of sick players down the whole like George Pickens, Ricky Pearsall, Matthew Golden, all that. I mean, that's
for sure. But like if you think about like starting a, so what'd you say? You said JT and Kyron?
Yeah. I would personally go JT and
JSN.
No, JT and Chase Brown.
Well, if Chase Brown's not an option,
I think he is. I just think that I forgot to mention him.
He said Chase Brown is gone.
Okay, yeah. Then JT Kyron.
Look at that, just like an old fashioned caller.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Frizzle.
Yeah. What about the question that somebody asked you if you test? You don't test PPR, do you?
Kip C knows better. He says, do you sprinkle in some PPR in the half testing? I think a lot of normal leagues, people treat it almost like PPR, and pre-rankings rarely change for both. The thing I'll say, Kip, is I hope people don't treat the half sheet like PPR because we literally have a PPR sheet.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good point. We definitely have one available to you. Yeah, man. So use the PPR sheet. Don't use the other one. I'm wondering, Cody, where are you right now on Stephon Diggs?
I love Diggs. I just had this conversation with our guy Matty Kiewum because he stopped up at Patriot camp, and I saw also Patriots are playing here in about 10 minutes. He's not dressed to play against the Vikings. Obvious. I mean, it's obvious to most people, right?
Are they going to please tell me that they're putting Travion on ice. Are they putting Travion on ice?
I only saw the tweet about Stephon Diggs because it's been such a topic point this week that the cockamamie New England Patriots media, for some reason, has to me turned into like the Giants media, the New York media, where it's like, hey, Vrabel, what do you think of what Stephon Diggs said on the national, media when they said, are you going to play in week 1? He said, I don't know. We'll see. Vrabel's like, dude, what are you asking? You trying to bait me into something? Like, Diggs has notoriously been a flirt, I guess would be the way to say it, in any fashion of media that he does. I think Diggs is fine. I think Diggs looks great, has looked great the last 2 weeks. I asked Maddie, I said, Maddie, what is the deal with this Diggs crap? I said, he's clearly the number one. He's clearly healthy. He hasn't missed any practice. He's not wearing a brace. He's routing dudes up like we've seen from Calvin Ridley and these other guys that are notorious and generational route runners in the NFL that succeed. Yes, he looks like he's maybe put on 5-6 pounds, but this dude's fine. And he's got a great connection with Drake May. What am I missing? He goes, you're not missing anything. He's like, the media is trying to twist it as if he's not a wide receiver 1 when he clearly is. He's like, nobody else in that room, like Demario Douglas has been targeted the most, but Diggs doesn't look like a true number 1 to most of the media because for whatever reason, I don't know if they have some attachment to like a chase or something where they see a certain type of thing, but Maddie's like, Diggs is the guy. Diggs is the number one. Diggs is going to play. Diggs is the starter. Like, I think he's a great value right now. On the half and standard sheet, I have him right around Roma Dunze, Chris Olave, side by side with Tony Pollard. I'm getting a good dosage of Stephon Diggs right now. And, as long as he's healthy, he's another one that just like generationally deals with hamstring injuries.
You have him side by side with Pollard, huh?
Side by side with Pollard. Yeah. He's currently wide receiver number, I think it's like 33.
Well, dude, I'm still okay. Well, I have him at 37. You just have Pollard down a lot lower than I do, I guess.
Pollard's still like, he ticks in there. He's right side by side with Caleb Johnson, and I still get every once in a while a little Pollard, but I don't want to get overextended on Pollard. I don't want
to get overextended on him either, but it's just weird. It's just weird to me that in PPR, why is Pollard going, like, to get Pollard? I have to have him up in more in like the kind of the Calvin Ridley-ish kind of area. But that's interesting, and I still don't get him. It could just be the difference of the sites. Yeah. Because the sites that I bring in for mine are different than the sites that you bring in for yours. Wild. But with that said, I mean, I have Diggs. I have Diggs as wide receiver 37. What do you have Pollard as? Running back what?
Pollard would be running back 27.
I have Pollard as running back 25. They're just at different areas of the sheet. It's weird.
There you go.
It's just structurally, it's a weird deal. We're getting a question here about Rashee Rice. Now, the news on Rashee Rice is that he's gonna play at the beginning of the season with the disciplinary action to possibly come later in the season, which I begin to wonder, did
you read the latest report?
Could it just not come at all this season?
No. Did you read the latest report that came out last night?
There was from last. I thought this report was from like 2 days ago.
No. So one came out last night from Pelissero that said the NFL initially proposed that Rashee Rice suspension of 10 plus games. The NFLPA countered that no precedent exists for suspensions of that length. A possible settlement could be reached before the season.
Okay. Well, I've not gotten Rashee Rice once using the PPR cheat sheet, and I'm not going to. Just like with Joe Mixon or Najee Harris, so I haven't been that concerned about it, but I'm not going to take him.
Have you gotten any Hollywood? Because Hollywood's been the biggest riser since Sunday.
Yes, I'm getting a ton of Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
I get a lot of Hollywood Brown. I get a lot of Christian Kirk. Here, I'll show you right now. I'll bet you I get Hollywood right now. Let's do one from let's do a draft, a PPR draft from where. What did this give me? Oh man, this is going to be one with a bad grade because the stupid simulator hates Ashton Genty. Why does it so much?
Can we can take him on Raw if you want.
Well, I'm going to have to take two.
That's true.
I'm going to have to take Genty and Amon Ra. Gosh.
Yeah, but if you take Amon Ra, maybe you can get who's hiding below there that I can't see. I suppose that's Drake. You'll probably end up with Drake.
At the 112 and 2. No, I'm taking these two players. I'm on Rob St. Brown and Ashton Genty at the 1-2 turn. That's what the cheat sheet says to do, so I'm going to do it. That's an interesting start. So with the next one is telling me to take James Cook at the 312, which is not that common, but Trashman would like it. And then I have a choice between Omari and Hampton and Mike Evans. For some reason, man, I just want to take Hampton. I know I like to. I'm going to take Hampton. Evans is probably the martyr pick.
Have you seen the freezing cold data points on this Greg Roman backfield stuff the last 10 years?
No. Well, I mean, I know that Greg Roman has a definite history of using two backs, and he's said that. But here's the thing: I just don't know if Najee Harris is going to. I just get too worried, man. Like your wife's a doctor; she's talked about this. My neighbor is an optometrist. He's talked to me about this. He's like, if it was a superficial eye injury, man, that guy would have been back after maybe a week.
I think the consensus between the two, my wife and your neighbor would say that it's not superficial based on the fact that it's been more than 3 days.
Okay. Let's see. So Tedder Roy McMillan and Aaron Jones at the 512, 601. like that. Here's Diggs. So we're getting Diggs and Addison, two guys who I think Addison and Diggs are great picks here.
Hey,
8th round.
Debo's right there. His ADP is higher than both these guys. I know we got him lower. Do you have thoughts on Debo? Do you have like we're waiting on this McLaurin thing right now, but Debo seems like he's a guy that not in the same boat as Christian Kirk, but kind of similar, where he kind of feels like a little bit of a value right now.
Yeah, and everybody hates him because in all the clips they show, he looks kind of fat.
Yeah. And I kind of don't mind him.
He's attached to a great offense. I like him, but I prefer Addison and Diggs.
Same.
But it's not like I would have been pissed off if I would have gotten them there. I love these two picks at the 9-10 turn. I'll just take Emeka Egbuka. So I passed on Mike Evans earlier, but I'll get Egbuka and Jaden Blue here. See what we got next. So now I'm going to go ahead and take Kyler Murray as my quarterback. Then I got a choice between Braylon Allen and Christian Kirk, but I'm taking Braylon Allen because Kirk will fall to the 13th. No, he didn't. Oh, well. Now I take Roschon Johnson here at the 13-14 turn, and the tight end I'll take Kyle Pitts. So here's that team from the turn. I was hoping that I would get Hollywood, but it was just out of range for him. I didn't get him because of that Roschon pick. Anyway, here's the team. The quarterback's Kyler Murray. The running backs are Ashton Genty, James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Aaron Jones, Jaden Blue, Braylon Allen, Roschon Johnson. The wide receivers are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Ted McMillan, Jordan Addison, Stephon Diggs, Emeka Egbuka, and the tight end is Kyle Pitts. It's probably not going to give me a good grade here. It hates guys like Genty and Cook, but this is a killer team. I'll bet you it gives me a B. This should be an A though. After kicker and 89, it's fine, but
basically an A.
I get tilted by it's easy to get tilted whenever whenever you're used to kind of getting these 96s and 97s and all that, then you realize, well, dude, if I get those grades right now, I'm not sure that I'm doing our users a service right now by we can't just be adjusting everything to what the expert consensus at Fantasy Pros thinks, because the expert consensus at Fantasy Pros is hallucinating right now, and they're not realizing what's actually happening with real draft trends. Cody, we're into this thing an hour. Why don't we take a quick break, come back, answer more questions, run more sims, get more action here on the Roster Watch Big Fantasy Draft Show.
This is Jerry Jones, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
All right, we're back. Jerry Jones. I remember Byron going up to Jerry Jones and to get that ID. Like it took the most courage of any that he's ever, that any of us have ever had to do, man. Just to walk up to old Jerry and be like, "Hey, man, I got this show called Roster Watch. Anyway, you can give us an audio rejoin." He's like, "Sure, I'll do it." It's one of the best, dude. That's a gem. I can't believe we have I think that, been doing this 15 years, man. I think I haven't counted them. It's got to be 400 of those things.
There's a ton.
What stinks about it is a lot of them are just I'll read off some of them right now, and you can see how unusable it's like let's see, Roster Watch IDs. Some of them are just Maybe I should just start putting even the old crappy ones on here. So how many of these could I use right now? Going in alphabetical order. Aaron Donald, Adam Troutman, Aiden O'Connell, Aeneas Smith, A.J. Brown, Akram Wadley, Alec Pierce, Alan Hearns, Allen Robinson, Amara Darbo, Amari Rogers, Andy Isabella, Anthony Gold, Anthony Miller. I'll just do the A's. Anthony Richardson, Antoine Green, Antonio Gibson, A.T. Perry, Austin Mack, Austin Reed, Austin Safarian Jenkins, Austin Eckler, and that's the A.
Darian Jenkins is a. I want to hear this one. This is one I always read.
What?
This is Akram Watley, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
Some of these guys, I'm not even sure. Like, I'm not entirely sure who Austin Reed is.
Austin Reed was quarterback at Western Kentucky.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So right after, was either right before or right after Zappy.
Okay, well, Bailey Zappi, by the way.
Bailey Zappi also in there. Is there? So here's a question I don't think I've ever asked you. Byron could probably answer this too if he's watching. Who's one guy that you got rejected for? Like
easy.
The best one you got rejected for.
Derek Carr.
Did he reject you, or was it like a SID that rejected you?
He did. He said, "Not going to do it."
He just said nope.
I don't know you from Adam. Who? Roster Watch? Not going to do it. He did, dude, straight up. He's like, "No, man, not going to do it."
I tried to get Rogers that one time at the joint practice.
David and Joku tried. Oh, you tried to get Rogers?
Yeah, I shook his hand and I said, "Hey," like I knew I couldn't like talk to him or do anything, so I was just like, he was waiting to go up on the podium, and I was like, "Hey, man, it's really nice to meet you. Big fan." And I was like, "Anyway, I can get an ID to come back on for our Sirius XM radio show." And he's like, "No, man, can't do it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right."
David and Joku asked Byron if he'd give him $20.
Was he dead serious?
Yeah, I think Byron gave him $20. Yeah, you'll have to ask Byron about it. Yeah, man. So yeah, a bunch of these things. It's like anyway. What other news do we want to get to? We have somebody here saying they want us to do a simulation from the 8th. I can get one set up here. And ask Matt Cassidy, do you want us to do PPR or half PPR? Let us know and we'll get one set up. What do you guys think about Cody? What do you think about Xavier Scott, Aaron Jones, and Jordan Mason both banged up at times last year? I even if the
Tiger, this is Tiger, and Tiger was at Viking camp, and Tiger knows Xavier Scott's not good.
Okay.
They'll just put it that way. This is a situation where Alex, I came back from Viking camp. I think I told you this. I can't remember who. I think it was you. We talk every day, so I probably was. But the Ty Chandler, to me, he's like, he feels like he's potentially a cut candidate. I think that they like obviously Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones a lot. I'm not sure they really trust and believe in Ty Chandler. He's the third guy though. He's the guy that's next. He's taken all the team 2, team 3 reps, and then it's Trey Stewart, the kid that came from I think Jacksonville State. I think it was Jacksonville State. He's got the burst. That kid's got the eyes, the vision.
That guy's actually right. That guy's actually good, right?
I think he's going to make that roster. And to be quite frank, watching those guys last week when I was up there, like Trey Stewart's better than Chandler off the hoof. And then Xavier Scott's the 5th dude. So if they they're not going to keep 5 backs. They're probably not even going to keep 4 on the roster. Xavier Scott's probably a practice squad candidate, but I know he's a big dude, 6 foot, 6'1", 220 pounds. Like, sounds good in theory, but I think before they got to that point, especially on a team like the Vikings, they're going to go out and sign Leonard Fournette.
There was a question that somebody had just now about about tight end premium leagues, and he just said, can you pull that one up, Cody?
Where are we at?
He asked about it in tight end premium, what you do, how you adjust the sheet. It says like it's right at the bottom.
Is it tight end?
Phil's general question for you. Did I not see that?
General question for you both. How do you adapt your cheat sheets to tight end premium leagues? In the past, I simply moved the tight ends up a few spots, but is there any other approach?
Yeah, and like I said before, we're gonna have a tight end. We get enough questions about this to where it's like we just need to make one next year. But earlier in the show, if you want to go back, and it should be easy to tell by just looking at the bottom here. If you scroll back, there was a question. Somebody asked the exact same question, and I told you exactly what the strategy should be, which players you should target, and where you should target them, and relative to where they are on the sheet. So just go back and check that out. Cody, any other, like, as far as any other news that we need to be talking about? Because I'm kind of back here in the background running some of these sims. I'm doing this stuff. And somebody that's popping up here at the end for me are guys like these running backs like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Woody Marks, these types of dudes. Where are you on that situation with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt? Do you think he's worth taking in the 14th round? And do you think Woody Marks is interesting enough in the 14th round just as a final kind of flyer type running back? Those are obviously the type of players that you want to be taking in those last picks before kickers and defenses.
Well, I think I just read, yes, it was right here. It was from this morning. I was going to say right before we got on the show, I read a report from CBS Sports and Rotoballer that Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt was limited in practice today with a shoulder injury.
And now it's so funny that the fantasy community cares now about that, right? It's just
in a matter of a day, he goes from being like the darling, going to be the starter for Washington, according to like one source, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, he's got a shoulder injury. So that also came from the same reporter, Ben Standig, with the Commanders. I mean, I like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt down here in this conversation. Other running backs in this area that I've dabbled into. Obviously, we talked about Dylan Sampson earlier, Trey Benson, Braylon Allen. I think that's the hot spot for those backup running backs that I like. Woody Marks, don't love. I'm not quite sold because the offensive line is not good, and
I mean,
they think they're going to be? They think they're like a sleeper offensive line. I went through and updated the offensive line rankings. They're dealing with Cam Robinson having a leg injury right now, and the rookie Ariante Ursary moved over to left tackle. I think they could be respectable, but they're still bottom of the league. That's the problem. Is I don't believe in them. I don't believe they're going to have a good run game, and I'm not going to put a guy like Woody Marks ahead of Benson, the Sampson, and Allen, for partly because of that. So those would be the running backs in that area, I guess. I haven't quite got sold on Roschon. I think you're a little more sold on Roschon. Bashal Tutin, I think, has the explosiveness and the burst, but I don't want to see anybody departed from the backfield. But if I would like to see somebody be departed from the backfield before I get in on a Bashal Tutin type.
I was just here in the A's, so this one's right here in the B.
Did you play it?
I haven't used that one much.
I didn't hear anything. Did you play something?
Oh! I guess it just doesn't pick it up whenever on my mic whenever I play the IDs.
Oh, I uploaded that one that I played a minute ago. That's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just played the Bashal Tutin one.
You mean this one right here? Bashal Tutin, the running back from the Jacksonville Jaguars that's soon to take over.
This is Bashal Tutin, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
How'd you get that uploaded so fast?
I'm freaky fast, like Jimmy John, son.
Yeah, man, it's definitely free smells and all. All right, so hey, somebody asked for a mock from the 8 spot, so I set one up here. We'll see how it goes, and this should be a good lesson to you if you're picking from the 8 spot, and Pete, because he asked for full PPR. Otherwise, I would have had Cody run it. Look, all the experts are going to say take Christian McCaffrey or take Malik Neighbors over Christian McCaffrey. I have these two on the same line together. We're probably not going to get a good grade out of this one because the snooty experts are going to say, "Don't take McCaffrey this early." I don't care. I'm taking him, and I think you can put together a team that looks great. We'll see. I mean, things always fall different, but I'm taking McCaffrey here, dude. And you'll see the grades won't be as good, but I'll bet you that the team it puts together is going to be good. So at the 205, we're going to start at McCaffrey. Then we'll 205. This cheat sheet says take Drake London, so we'll do that. At the 308, we take Kamara, or do we take Garrett Wilson? You think?
I want to take Kamara.
Okay.
Man, he's moving up faster to PPR.
Garrett Wilson falls to us anyway at the 405. The 508 it says to take Xavier Worthy. So
are you bullish on that?
Dude, there are people out there that I've seen on X saying that they have Xavier Worthy like 28 overall.
Yeah, those people are on some good stuff.
I think Xavier Worthy in the 5th is a smash.
I think the kid's special. We both know he's special. But I mean, we're talking about, I mean, he can't be again, he's got Tyreek qualities, but he can't be Tyreek.
Yep.
Just think it's a little bit of a different conversation.
Okay. We got next we got at the 605, we got Aaron Jones is who the cheat sheet says to take here. I like this going from the 8th. Oh gosh, man. So Quinshawn really popping up here. Right here, like I was saying, take him only in the 9th. I think now around the 7-8 turn is where I don't think he's going to fall. The cheat sheet still has us taking Jordan Addison, even though 80. Should Quinshawn be on the same line as Addison?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
I'll make that note.
They should be on the same line, and is such a weird spot.
It is. That would mean I'd have to put him ahead of Caleb Johnson.
I'm not sure I want to do that quite yet. What if you because if you brought Addison down, then you have to put Diggs up. You have to flip-flop them.
But Addison has a higher ADP. They're actually back-to-back with their ADPs. Addison's is technically higher. Rome Adunze is higher than both of them, but I don't want Rome.
That's what I'm saying is your structure would be you either put Diggs or Debo where Addison's
do
at.
you know what I could do? I could put Rome above Addison. I probably still won't get him. I put Caleb with Rome. I put Quinshawn then with Addison.
Yep.
And then Mixon, who we don't get, but I think that means we're probably going to be a lot more out on Diggs. Well, I don't want to change it to do that right now. So
Super chat, big one. Matt
Whoa, dude, look at that. Look at that. A $69.99 super chat, dude. My gosh. Thank you,
Cassidy. $69.99. I've been a RosterWatch supporter and user for many years now and have had my wins and money go up over those years. I just want to say thank you for all your passion you put into your craft. Keep up the great work and bets, gentlemen.
Matt Cassidy, we love you, brother. Thank you so very much, man. God, what an incredible member of RosterWatch Nation. Thank you. It means the world to the super chat, man. But most importantly, being with us through this whole time. I remember taking like questions from Matt Cassidy before I even like had my kids. Like that's how much these people are like family to me. It's just wild, man. So just thank you so much, dude. Like you guys have just been such a giant part of our lives, and we can't thank you guys enough for all the support. Anyway, back to the. But thanks again, dude.
True OG.
Back to the sim. Should I take Quinshawn since I'm going to make the change? I don't think I should because technically it's not going by the sheet, and I haven't tested the Quinshawn thing to see if it's. I'm going to change it though. I'm going to get Quinshawn.
Let's do it. We're here. We're testing. We're doing it for the people. We got to show them what it's like.
It's only moving Quinshawn up one spot.
Yeah, the move's going to be made on the sheet. So let's just do it here.
Hold on. Hold on. Wait. What if we take Addison and Quinshawn falls?
Where are we at here? 7, 8?
Is Quinshawn not going to fall into the 8th? Like I honestly, I like Quinshawn right now. at the in the 8th. Do we like him in the late 7th now?
The ADP would tell you he's going to fall, but I'm not sure he's going to.
He's not. Not with the new data that's coming in right now. We have a super chat. This guy might be on the clock. He has the 9th pick. Neighbors or St. Brown. I take Malik Neighbors in PPR.
Yep.
I
mean, they're back to back in half, and I take Neighbors. Thank you,
do
Kendrick.
you want to just test out what a Quinshawn taking him here would do, whether it screws everything up?
That's exactly what I want to do, brother.
All right. If things go off the rails from here, it's not my fault. It's Cody's fault. Okay. 708.
I'll own it.
All right. Jacoby
we got
Myers here. Look at that. I like that. And then as per our usual arrangement, hopefully here at 9:10 we get Emeka Egbuka and Jaden Blue. Yep. Then we have the Braden Allen, Christian Kirk choice with the 11 and 12.
So it gives us a 6 and 6.
Yeah, so this is good and balanced. Then we're going to take Brock Purdy as our quarterback, and hopefully Tucker Kraft will fall here in the 14th round. Otherwise, we'll get Kyle Pitts again.
Bang.
Kyle Pitts.
Dude, they might hate on McCaffrey, but this thing's going to be at the minimum an 88. I'm going to go 93.
I'm telling you, it's a McCaffrey draft. These snooty experts are going to hate it, dude. But hey, this is what was it? Matt Cassidy that asked him we use from the 8. I think so. I forgot if it was, but if you take McCaffrey and use the sheet in PPR, it's like you can get a team that looks like this. I think this team looks sick. Brock Purdy's the quarterback. The running backs are McCaffrey, Kamara, Aaron Jones, Quinshawn Judkins. Again, on your bench, Quinshawn Judkins. But, I mean, you have a lethal asset on your hands right there once he gets back into form. Jaden Blue and Braylon Allen. The wide receivers are Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Jacoby Myers, Emeka Egbuka, and Christian Kirk. The tight end here is Kyle Pitts. Let's auto-draft a kicker and defense, see how bad this grade swindles us. 86. See, it's so stupid.
Oh, my gosh. Who's the hater?
Are you kidding me?
The hater from Fantasy Pros Experts? Who's the hater?
I don't know who hated on it.
Who hated on it?
They all just thought it's okay.
Gosh.
I don't get it. I for real. I don't care though, man. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for Roster Watch Nation. That's a sick team. Like, I'm going to war with that team every single time.
Bro, not the sidetrack. Have you been able to hear the thunder in my background at all?
You guys getting rain?
We're getting crushed right now. My wife just sent me this picture. She's leaving the hospital, and there's like a full 1.5 feet of water on the ground.
Oh, dude, hold on, wait, man. There are like 600 people watching on X. Are there any questions from over there?
The X questions do filter in here. We have a couple that have like filtered in, but they do populate on Restream.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't sure whether or not they even show up on the Restream or not.
So we had one from Greek X31X earlier. This was our last X comment. He says, "Who is our new golden child for this year?"
It's not a golden child. It's a golden son of all of Roster Watch Nation. And I can't believe we're having to retire Cooper Kupp as the original just golden son. He definitely helped us in Dynasty for a good decade, though, didn't he? Maybe not a decade.
Hey, man, he's not dead. He's still in Seattle.
Yeah, he looked feeling a little bit dusty, right? Who is your golden son? The one true golden son this year for me, I think, is going to be Travion Williams.
Hey,
do you know? Travion Henderson. Why do I keep calling him Williams?
That's the second.
I've been talking about this guy for years.
That's the second time this week that you've pulled the Travion Williams, for those that remember, the true legend from Texas A&M that spent 3 years on our taxi squads for the Bengals.
Let's go into Travion Williams, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
Trayvion's the one who I'm just like, he's the guy that, like, whenever I get around to my draft pick and, that I'm always so excited to pick. I'm really excited about RJ Harvey.
That's a good one.
Really excited. I'm just trying to think of the guys who are like the younger. I mean, it's always like younger. You can't say your golden son is some kind of.
Well, I mean, isn't Matthew Golden the obvious golden son?
Oh yeah, dude. Here's the thing. Like, why do people look at this situation with the Green Bay Packers wide receivers and just not automatically assume that he comes in and dominates as the alpha?
I saw somebody compare him to Jamar Chase the other day, which is a bit cockamamie, but
I mean, dude, like Jamar Chase has a little bit of Odell Beckham to him, and like that was always my high end comp for Golden.
So the reports this last week, notable stuff that I had written down from the.
Do you have any nominations for Golden Son? I think mine are Trayvon Henderson, of course.
Oh, dude, Abuka and Golden.
Okay, Abuka, Golden, Trayvon Henderson, RJ Harvey.
Yeah, those are the rookie nominations.
Is Tet not on there?
Tet's not a golden son. We didn't love him from the jump.
Would Jaden Blue not be considered maybe a possible, or is he doesn't have quite the can-do attitude that we generally like to see out of our golden sons?
Correct. I'm going to put this in the YouTube chat. I want to see what you guys think. So we're going to put Abuka, Golden, Henderson, and Harvey. Who should be the next golden son of Roster Watch? It's in the chat right now on YouTube. Alex, I want to ask you this. We talked about the Packers just for a second with Matthew Golden here. So the notable notes this week, Gutekunst said that Christian Watson is expected to begin the season on PUP, which we've known. We've talked about this. The Packers are hopeful that Jaden Reed, who had a leg injury, will be ready for week 1. Hopeful. It's not the word I want to hear. They got Marshawn Lloyd back this week on Monday. They also signed Tyrion.
He'll be back. He'll be back for 4 days before he's out again.
And yes, and then they also said we anticipate that there will be some sort of participation next week from Jordan Love, who just had the hand surgery. The biggest riser this week in ADP since Sunday was actually Christian Watson, who jumped about a round and a half.
Really? Why?
He jumped up. Well, I mean, he's expected to. I don't know. He's expected to begin the season on the PUP, which is, I guess, better than the IR.
Well, I thought that. Okay. Well, I mean. Okay. I mean,
again, when we're talking about the ADP for a Christian Watson type
was like 240 something, jumping to what 212 or something like that.
Exactly. Exactly like it's not. I think he was in the 300s, so he might just now be like cresting in the 2s. But he jumped up a round and a half in 26 round drafts. But the point is more so he's like moved the most, right? He's been the most positive gainer of traction, I should say, in this receiving room. Like, what are we like? I've also heard negative stuff about Jordan Love can't. He's not accurate. He can't do this. He can't do that. Like, I love Jordan Love. Byron loved Jordan Love. Like, I think this receiving room is going to be fine. We like Tucker Kraft. What's not to like about Matthew Golden? He looks like he's had a good fall camp so far. We just made the adjustment this last week. I can't remember if it was on Monday or Tuesday to bump Golden ahead of Jaden Reed because their ADPs were back and forth. Reed's fallen about 5 or 6 spots this last week in ADP as well.
It feels over the course of the last 2 weeks, it feels like he's fallen around.
Well, that probably maybe the last 2 weeks, yes, but since Sunday it's been 6 spots.
Yeah. Yep, and that's why you use the cheat sheet. It's like you might not have realized that was happening, but those are things that Cody and I are texting back about as we're testing these things literally thousands of times. Of course, it's the ultimate draft cheat sheet that we're talking about at RosterWatch.com. We are fueled here by our pro members. Again, we're here doing this show to remind you guys that this is the time of the year that we do our business, where we get people to sign up for the site. We would love it if you go to RosterWatch.com, get a pro membership. We talked about it before, man. It's just $9.99. You get just a whole lot of stuff. AJ Sandy's beer, since it was just a cheap cup of coffee. We used to say it's cheaper than a cheap cup of coffee. Now it's about as cheap. Like the Starbucks and the Summer Moon. That's like my wife drives into town to go go get a drink. I think she probably spends $8 or so on a cup of coffee, right?
The nitro cold brews, shots of espresso. You start adding stuff on, adding some pumps of flavors and stuff. All of a sudden, it's $8.95, and you're like, "Whoa!"
And once we get into the season, I think that what people like the most is like the matchup tool and the DFS cheat sheets, the hyper DFS lineup generator. Just last year, we started doing the underdog and prize picks and player prop cheat sheet, which we were just maniacally successful with. We have snap counts, touches, targets, waiver wire cheat sheets, and we have the sit start stream and the live sit start pro members only thread on the site. It's where you go to the site, you ask your question, you let us know who you think about sitting or starting, and we answer every single one. Every single Sunday, we make sure that before lineup lock, every single one is answered. So we're here to help you through the whole season and be a big fam here, man. And we want to win. All we want to do is just dominate our friends and our family members and especially our cockamamie coworkers. Gosh. No way. Is this true?
Let's go.
That ADP is going. That ADP is going to. I mean, you made that tweet about the looking at him at the 401 and just like I think that's probably about right. That was the perfect tweet. That's exactly how I view him at the 401.
Wow, this is a great run too. It's a good. I mean, it's nice. It wasn't a bounce outside. It was a up the gut. Broke a couple tackles, 4 carries, 20 yards, and a touchdown here in the first quarter for the Patriots. They took a 7-0 lead over the Vikings.
We have Eric Rush again asking another question. He keeps getting Roschon in the mocks with the Superflex sheet. You all think he'll be like Montgomery. What about their rookie? So I'm not big on Kyle Monungai. I don't care about a 7th round rookie. He got in trouble last week with how am I blanking on this? I'm calling Travion Williams. I'm blanking on the name of the UCLA offensive coordinator last year. He used to be the offensive coordinator. He could never get a whole head coaching job. Eric Bieniemy. He got in trouble with Bieniemy, the running backs coach there last week, on a terrible pass protection rep. Roschon Johnson is, he's. I think the reason we're not hearing much about him is because he's been a little bit banged. Is that a foot he's been a little bit banged up with? But they're saying it's fine. Everybody around there thinks he's going to be the short yardage back. That's what we've been told from the jump around there. It's easy to draw a straight line in the Ben Johnson offense from, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery to Roschon Johnson and DeAndre Swift. We saw that Monungai was the only one that they brought in. We were not super impressed with him. I thought he looked okay running the ball the first time that we've seen him in the preseason, but it feels like he's clearly behind those guys on the depth chart. And here's the other thing. If you're getting Roschon, you're getting him in the 13th or 14th round.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, name me another. Can you name me another running back that you can get in at that point in drafts? And I know that you're not as into him. But who has a legitimate chance to become his team's fantasy running back 1 without an injury to anybody else? Hold up. You think Roschon Johnson could become the running back? I think that I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it's within the range of possible outcomes. Is there any other that you can say within the range of possible outcomes?
Jerome Ford.
Okay. I think that's probably fair. Is that it? Is it within the range of possible outcomes for Braylon Allen? I don't think it is.
Was the trade count?
Let's say no injury, no trade, no erasing the guy with the higher ADP. It's certainly it's not like a Trey Benson. It's not a Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright looks bad, by the way.
It's a horrible question. Does Nick Chubb qualify with Joe Mixon just already being where he's at?
No. Well, I'm considering Nick Chubb to be just a bad RB1 right now.
Correct. But I'm just saying,
but no, he doesn't qualify because Mixon's hurt.
But he's already hurt.
Yeah.
And he's still going in this area. You know what I'm saying? Like he's all like Mixon's been hurt for a month.
I prefer Roshan. I prefer Roshan to Chubb. Chubb, dude, even like he looks bad.
I agree with you.
I'm not head coach says like, hey man, look, guys age. Like, you know, it is what it is. He's been.
You know who probably fits this is your other cockamamie favorite running back is Scadaboo.
He's not, but dude, I mean, I love Cam Scadaboo. I loved him as a college player. How can you not like him? What do you have? 2,400 all-purpose yards last year? Is that way off? That could be way off.
Okay, so because Matt Cassidy brought it up, and I wish I had it's in my storage unit, the autographed Toby Gerhart jersey that I have. Toby Gerhart, what did he have during his Heisman runner-up campaign in college? Let's check. Notes. 354 touches, 2,028 yards, and 28 touchdowns.
What does Scat have, just out of curiosity? And I know that Scat had the extra games because of the playoff.
Scat with 338 plays, so like 15 fewer touches, 2,316 yards, 24 touchdowns.
Okay, so I got the touchdown number mixed up with the yardage, but the yardage was almost there. 2,400 yards and 24 touchdowns. Guys, I mean, he was an incredible player. To say that guy had no shot when he was coming in, it's like
he has no shot.
We got more information. I don't think he's got no shot, but he's going to like is his ADP higher than Tyrone Tracy? I'd never get him, so I don't know.
I was going to say the same thing.
Cam Scadaboo is 102. Tracy is 78. But there was a while there whenever Scadaboo had the higher ADP.
It was just bizarre.
Yeah. But dude, I told you, man, I was on vacation up there in this awesome. I went to. I'd never been to Massachusetts to their beaches there, but you know, I've never really spent much time in the Northeast at all, except I lived in New York for like 6 months one time when I was recording a record back when I was doing the rock band. But I'd never really spent any time there, dude. Their beaches there are in Cape Cod. Dude,
Cape Cod.
It's awesome. Awesome up there. This beach I was at, right? It's like this awesome like beach resort, right? There with the family. And what's cool about up there is it's different from down here on the Gulf Coast, because on the Gulf Coast, everything's got to be far away from the beach because we're so worried about hurricanes, right? I think up there, like I don't think hurricanes really hit Massachusetts. I'm not sure if they do or not, but it's like Bill, you walk out of your room like and you step foot on the sand. It's incredible. But one of the guys that was on the benches next to us, he was a coach for the Giants, and I started talking to him. I was, I'm like, is Scadaboo going to start? He's like on special teams. He's going to be the personal protector on punt.
He's the backup punter.
Yeah. And he could be our short yardage back eventually, but he's been hurt. He's still kind of banged up and hurt. At that point in time, he's like, well, I haven't really got to see him. He's been hurt the whole time. He came back for a little while, then got hurt again. But he's like, no, Tyrone Tracy's the guy.
Yeah.
So ever since that, I've been like, well, I mean, that's a coach on the team. Like, I'm out on Scat. Like, if you guys have been listening to the show, you know what we've been saying about it. This is an interesting one. Krosky Merritt from your name twin there, Cody with a T. Not quite a name twin, more of a name cousin. I think Krosky Merritt's like, yeah. Well, dude, Ben Standig thinks he can.
I mean, dude, you ain't got to convince me on Krosky. The thing is, he's not a superstar. He's not like, can he be a Philip Lindsay? Yes. Can he be an Elijah Mitchell? Yes. Can he give you a little bit? Yes. Is he going to be the next Pacheco? Not quite there on that. He had a great Shrine Bowl. The tape was fine. We saw at New Mexico. Was it New Mexico or New Mexico State 2 years ago?
God, this is so cockamamie, man. And what?
Yeah, he got cocked going to Arizona, but
he didn't get. Well, he got.
Yes, he did. He played one game and then had to sit and watch.
Well, right, because he did the whole
the definition.
He allegedly did the whole thing where he switched out a jersey to skirt the red shirt rule, right? Or what was that?
Yeah, he's a stud, dude.
I can't believe they actually do that. They like switch dudes' jerseys and stuff to try and get him extra games. And
Well, I don't think that that's like maybe it is, but I think that they switch jerseys during games for like. I think they might have gone away with this where they used to have to do it for like you have to wear 40 to 49 if you're going to be on the offensive.
Well, no, that because they did at Texas this last. You remember was that last year or the year before when they had to do that? Keep doing that with Malik Agbo.
Yes,
because
left tackle and tight end.
Because whenever he would go in as a jumbo tight end, you don't have to. But where you come in and report eligible. But I think if you're just lining up and don't want to report eligible, I think you can't be wearing an offensive lineman number.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, man. I'm not very good at remembering all the exact rules. My wife's always like, what's that penalty for? And I'm like, I don't understand that. And she's like, I thought you're a football analyst. I'm like, well, it's like I'm not a referee analyst. I don't know all these rules.
Speaking of Texas, a player that I read a report on this morning from the Colts, Adonai Mitchell. The report basically said, arguably, no other Colts player has flashed as much as Adonai Mitchell, who had an abysmal rookie year.
That's the report?
That was the report.
Had an abysmal rookie year?
That was the report from, I think it was a Sports Illustrated, Colts Risers and Fallers. Arguably, no other Colts players flashed as much as Mitchell, who had an abysmal rookie year. Blah, 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 blah. Keeps on going on. Where Mitchell's going right now is almost like he's basically 284th in the half and standard sheet. He's like receiver 83, 101, 94, around this area. The Keyshawn Bouttes behind Jalen Coker and the unsigned Amari Cooper and Jalen Naylor. So we've gotten a little bit of Pittman. We've had this Pittman conversation a bit because Pittman's a good player. Downs is also a good player. Some people like Pierce. Should we push anything in on this Adonai thing?
No. Nothing.
Just because the quarterback play, even the decent plays that you see from Richardson when he makes a nice throw, it's still not there's no step forward taken. He's still dealing with his shoulder stuff he's going to be dealing with. Is it just going to be like a painful, hey, we have to miss out on this Adonai Mitchell thing because he's going to have a game or two. We know he's going to. He's a stud. He runs a 4.38, and he's a really good receiver, good at high pointing the ball, good route runner, good tempo guy. And, you could argue he's on the same level as Michael Pittman from a talent perspective, but there's just so much weaponry there with such inadequate quarterback plays. It's going to hurt to not draft him, but you just kind of have to let him, right?
Yeah, man. You let pass on him, let him wither on the vine there with the miserable quarterback play that he's going to have. What are we even doing, dude?
Well, I mean, you have to think about it because it's a report, right? From them they're saying this has been the guy that's flashed the most at camp. It's the same thing from Washington with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. This guy's flashed the most at camp. Anywhere you go, if this is the report we're getting out, but obviously Pittman and Downs are the two top guys. And it's we don't even really plug your nose and click the Pittman button in the 10th, 11th round. It's sure, it's a good enough value for a guy that's probably going to get 110 targets. Adonai, I don't even know if he's going to get you to 75, 80. That's the problem.
I mean, do you think Adonai Mitchell's more talented than – George Pickens would probably tell you that Adonai Mitchell's more talented than Michael Pittman.
I think that's close. Pittman's a stud. We forget this because of where he's at. But Pittman's really good. He also dealt with a back injury. He got the new contract a year ago or so. If they had even, if Indianapolis went out and got Kirk Cousins, they were like, all right, we're done. We're done playing with this crap. We're done with this Daniel Jones thing. We're done with the Anthony Richardson experiment. We're going to go out. We're going to spend a second round pick, third round pick, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Go get Kirk Cousins and he's going to be like, you know what I'm saying? Not going to do it. But if Chris Ballard really cared about his job, he would go get a Kirk Cousins or something. You plug him into that offense, all of a sudden you're like, all right, I feel good about drafting Pittman. Pittman jumps up 2 rounds, maybe 3. Downs is going to get drafted a little bit more. He's a top 100 guy almost. And then Adonai Mitchell, his head peaks up. Tyler Warren.
Like that's the other that's the other thing, dude. Now we add in Tyler Warren, who's been just like I don't know, man. And it was always so tilting last year that if it's Anthony Richardson in there too, it's like Alec Pierce is so much worse than him, but it's like feels like those are the ones he can connect on with the guy that just runs down the field and somehow gets a little bit open and he can just kind of throw it up in his general area for the big play. I'm kind of out on all these guys except for JT, dude, and Pittman if he goes really late. You know, I think that's more of a 16 team thing. Like our guy in the chat, John in Cedar Park, he's doing a 16 team draft. Maybe he should keep an eye out for Adonai. The worst place to pick. We have to do some cheat sheet simulations because we are here, of course, to sell pro memberships at RosterWatch.com. We really appreciate you guys all being here, and want to remind you here on this Saturday, if you guys have fantasy drafts coming up, we do appreciate that. Also, as Cody notes in our private chat here, thanks for subscribing, dude. We just hit 28,000. 28,000 for real? Gosh, 28,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed, you're listening on the podcast. It's a lot of fun to watch it here on video and see Cody and I's ugly mugs and Trash Man's you can smell Trash Man through the YouTubes. Just a despicable human. He'll be on the show next week. Cody, let's run some simulations. Of course, we're using the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet available now at RosterWatch.com, where if you follow the 3 simple rules, the cheat sheet is magical, it's mystical, it is mythical. An expert quality draft is always guaranteed. We have them for all league sizes, all league types. Again, we're testing them maniacally. We just want to make sure that you don't panic whenever you're on the clock. How many times have you just been on the clock and you felt like you got sniped by somebody and your mind just goes to panic? It won't whenever you use the cheat sheet. You just follow the rules, man. You take the player that's highest up on the sheet. Just follow the rules. It's made in a dynamic way to where it works, man. Like, I can't believe I can say this, but it's been downloaded. It's been downloaded 1 million times. You think 1 million other people are wrong? Like, people don't come back and get it if it doesn't work. Go to RosterWatch.com, get a pro membership. We would really appreciate it, man. It keeps the lights on around here. My little kids are out running around. They want some lunch and stuff like that. Like, that's how we pay for it. It's from this. And we love doing it. It's an honor and a privilege to do this for a job, but this is our business season. So we have to, I'm sorry if this sounds like a commercial, but it kind of is. All right. Speaking of that, let's show up.
In the infamous quote from Latrell Sprewell from back in the day, I've got a family to feed.
The worst place to pick from in a Superflex, the worst place to pick from in a Superflex draft is the 12.
Really?
Yes.
I was just at brunch this morning and I was talking to one of Steph's residents friends, and I was like, I'd kind of love the 10, 11, 12 area.
In Superflex, it's brutal. It's just brutal. Like, it helps you so much, especially with your scores on this stuff. It helps you so much to just start out with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, or Jalen Hurts. And then oftentimes what happens is somebody gets really, really smart there in the first 4 picks and will take a Jamar Chase to where Jalen Hurts sometimes falls to 5 or 6. Like, you want to be picking at the top of these rounds because after that, you don't know when your quarterbacks are going to come into play. The good thing about it, though, is you can build what is usually a super team around them. So let's pick here in a 12-team league. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 super flex, 1 defense, 1 kicker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bench spots. This draft started out with Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Bijan, Justin Jefferson, Baker Mayfield. The cheat sheet says of the turn to take Jahmyr Gibbs and CeeDee Lamb. Now with this is what's cool. You get to take like Chase Brown at the end of the 3rd. So Chase Brown here. Then the cheat sheet gives me a choice between Kyron Williams and JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba with the 401 to try and keep it even. All right, here at the 5-6 turn, we're going to get our first quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, and the sheet wants us to take Cortland Sutton. So we'll take Cortland Sutton, the true alpha that nobody just realizes is an alpha. This is in half PPR, by the way. All right, going a little bit running back heavy here, but it's fine whenever we have CeeDee Lamb, JSN, and Cortland Sutton to start, and we only need to start 2 wide receivers in half PPR. So let's go with RJ Harvey at the 712, Isaiah Pacheco at the 801. This could be running back heavy, but it's not. We don't have to make it that way. It wants to take Javonte Williams at the 912 and gives us a choice between J.K. Dobbins and Ricky Pearsall. 95% of experts take J.K. Dobbins, but we already have, 5 running backs and only 3 receivers. So let's get it our minimum number of receivers here with Ricky Pearsall at the 1001 because we know we're going to need to load up on quarterback here pretty soon. The cheat sheet knows it, and it knows that Matthew Stafford is great to take, but we're going to need to take a third quarterback with him because if he's hurt. Have we heard any news from his throwing session today? He's going to throw 60 balls and hopefully not have to go back into his cryovac chamber.
Okay.
That thing is so weird.
It's next level technology, man.
Okay.
Nothing, no updates though lately of Matthew Stafford.
Somebody saying that Makuba just had a pick 6.
Yes, he did. 60. Oh, what was it?
Dude, what
60,
is
70, 75 yards.
What a
Wait, wasn't Quinyon Mitchell number 24 last year?
He was he 24 in college maybe at Toledo?
I swear Quinyon was 20. Looks like he was 37. 27. There you go. 27. Makuba's 24. Blazing down the sideline.
What? Wait.
Wow.
They're playing the Browns right now?
Yeah. He picked off Lefty Lucy, DG.
When did it happen? Just now?
Yeah, 14:55 in the second quarter.
Oh, okay.
All
right. So Gabriel has the ball back now, though, right? This isn't the drive he did it.
What time? What's your clock say?
Second quarter, 11:51.
Oh yeah, this happened the last drive then.
Okay. All right. So where are we? Oh yeah. So Stafford and Bryce Young here for our Superflex 1 and 2, and then now I guess yes we take Braylon Allen and we'll see what tight end is left. It's gonna be Kyle Pitts again. So we'll take. Dude, Kyle Pitts is just free at the end of these things.
Free.
It's just a lock, dude, to take him. All right. So here we go. Here's this team. Need to start 2 wide receivers. I wouldn't have minded seeing 1 extra wide receiver here, but I think with the strength at the top, CeeDee Lamb, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Cortland Sutton, and Ricky Pearsall, when you need to start 2, it's fine in half-point PPR, especially with all these good running backs we have and the fact it's like even already you have a hard time. It's like, well, I mean, in this super flex, do I play Sutton? Do I play Harvey? Or do I need to play Bryce Young or Stafford? Right? That's why in the knees, it's like you can still get good grades even when you have like 3 running backs if they're all real good with this setup. But sorry, anyway, this team is J.J. McCarthy, Matthew Stafford, Bryce Young at the super flex, Jahmyr Gibbs, Chase Brown. Cody, have we done a standard or half PPR? Why don't you get one of those things loaded up?
All right.
You could run one of those. I could tell you what I think of it. J.J. McCarthy, Stafford, Bryce Young, running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Chase Brown, RJ Harvey, Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Braylon Allen. The tight end is Kyle Pitts. The wide receivers are CeeDee Lamb, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Cortland Sutton, Ricky Pearsall. I think they're going to give me a good grade for this. Snooty experts on fantasy pros that aren't keeping up with ADPs. It's fine. It's a 91. It's like I feel like all these should be 99s. They should be hundreds, dude. I look at these mock drafts like they're my kids. I say, like, what do you mean? It's not perfect. Look at it. It's perfect. this is a good question from Matt Cassidy. Is there any worry about a sophomore slump from Daniels, a la Stroud? We saw Daniels play good teams and still dominated Eagles, whereas Stroud's rookie season was littered with inconsistency. Thoughts? Well, I don't. It's like JD was. He was the tide that lifted all boats. Right? We predicted it before the season. We all had him last season. We love Jaden Daniels. Could he regress from last season? Of course. Or he could have trouble staying healthy, right? He's not the biggest guy. He's not like he's one of these guys that every time he gets the ball on a designed run, man, it's one of these guys where you gotta hold your breath a little bit. You know what I mean? You're just like, God, this guy's so special. He's so good. Just please don't get hurt. Don't let him land wrong. Don't let him land wrong. So but I do think that when you have a truly special talent like that, am I misremembering, or did he take them to the NFC Championship versus the Eagles?
Yes.
I mean, are you kidding me? All this guy, how did Brian, dude, if Brian Kelly loses in week 1 versus Clemson, this thing could go off the rails for him at LSU. He wasted Jaden Daniels. How can you have that guy in a Heisman season who comes into the NFL and just transforms a franchise, and have him just waste that season for LSU? It's honestly, it's pretty close to inexcusable, dude. Almost as inexcusable as that when he breaks out that fake Cajun accent. I think that guy is from Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
He's from. I think he's from. I think he's carpetbagging down in the South from way up somewhere in the Northeast.
All right.
What do you got here? Where are you picking from?
I got half and standard. We're
the
going
worst
for
spot. The worst spot to pick from, because they're going to give you an awful grade because they hate Saquon.
They hate Saquon, but guess what? We're taking him. Even I don't love him. I think he's fine where he's at. His ADP shifted with Jahmyr Gibbs. He's now up to 2 and half in standard. Jahmyr Gibbs is down to 4. 103, 101, 102 is Chase and Robinson. Shocker. 103, we're going to take Saquon Barkley here to start this thing off. The 210, you see the receivers lined up. We're going to get Jackson Smith and Jigba. And through the turn, we see Josh Allen go, Lamar Jackson go. We're going to get Ladd McConkey. So like at the beginning of the show, we talked through the receivers, Ladd and Jackson, Smith and Jigba back to back. At the 410, I thought we were going to get Montgomery, but it looks like we're going to end up with Metcalf. We're going to get Montgomery at the 503. He goes just a pick.
A 3 wide receiver build here with 1 flex.
Cortland after Cortland Sutton.
Oh man, we're gonna get some Travis Hunter here, please. Do you have a choice, or
we do have a choice? We could take Travis Hunter, but
if you want to take Pacheco, take him. Maybe
there's
Hunter could fall.
There's a chance that Hunter falls through. If he doesn't, we'll probably get Aaron Jones.
That's fine.
Hunter goes the next pick to Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh, look at that team name for 612. Now you see me, now you don't. That's horrible. That's a horrible name. Aaron Jones here at the 703. So through 7 rounds, 4 running backs, 3 receivers. At the 810, the Golden Sun Cooper Kupp goes off the board. At the
Ricky Pearsall could be a Golden Sun this year, possibly.
Ricky, I think that's. What do you think of this spot right here? Look at these. I kind of like this right here. Pearsall, Judkins, Abuka, and then Juwan just peeking his head. I think we get 2 of these 3 guys right here. We're going to take Ricky first. And then we'll probably get an option. We got an option between Quinshawn and Emeka Egbuka. So far we got Saquon, Montgomery, Pacheco, and Jones.
Yeah, just go with the one that evens out the.
Well, we're even. We're straight right now.
Okay.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, Ladd, DK, and Ricky. So we're even, Steven. Where would you go?
You have to start 3 receivers. Oh man, I don't know. Who's the flex right now? Pacheco?
Yeah, but you also got Aaron Jones and Ricky on the bench. So you're even right now, 4 and 4.
You choose. I don't know.
Right.
I like Quinshawn and I like Egbuka. What are the ADPs?
89 and 107.
Who's the 107? Egbuka?
Egbuka.
but he will fall.
There's potential, I guess. Let's see. Let's take Judkins and get us our running back 5. He does not fall.
Keon Coleman's a fine consolation prize.
Yeah, he goes here. Let's see where Buka did go. Buka went 10:02, 1 pick after Najee Harris, right ahead of Michael Pittman.
Who on earth is taking Najee Harris in fantasy football drafts right now?
The same guy that took the Niners defense at the 9-12.
Well, that's going to be a guy in your league.
It's literally going to be a guy in your league. All right, let's take Keon Coleman here to get even back up. At the 11:03, we'll take Jaden Blue. We do have an option.
Good team, Cody. This thing's running, dude. This thing's up and running.
We got an option between Blue and Burden. We're going to get Blue because Burden's going to fall to us at the 12:10. That's going to fill us up at running back and receiver. And then we're going to take our quarterback. We'll get Herbo, and our tight end is going to be Kincaid. So this roster is Justin Herbert with Saquon Barkley, David Montgomery, Isaiah Pacheco, Aaron Jones, Quinshawn Judkins, Jaden Blue. Receivers are Jackson Smith and Jigba, Lad McConkey, DK Metcalf, Ricky Pearsall, Keon Coleman, Luther Burden, and our tight end is Dalton King.
I'll tell you what, Cody, I think after you auto-draft a kicker and defense, we're going to have to get out of here, but I think it's not going to give you a good grade. Oh, it is.
92.
Do you know what saved it? Even though they hate Saquon, it's because you took your guy Lad. These experts just love Lad.
I love Lad. Love Lad.
They love Lad. We love you guys, man. We're gonna be here every Saturday for the next 3 weeks for the biggest draft weekends of the year. Just another reminder, man. Go to RosterWatch.com, get a pro membership. That QR code right there, it will take you right there. Or just go to RosterWatch and go sign up, man. Like we said, it's $9.99, super cheap. It's going to help you out through the whole fantasy football season. Once you dominate your draft using the cheat sheets, that's just where we start, right? Then we got to win waivers, right? We got to win our sit-start decisions. We got to win our DFS contests. We have to come together and do this, man. We can't be losing in fantasy football, and you can't be panicking on the clock. So it starts now. Go to rosterwatch.com, get a pro membership. We cannot thank you guys enough for being here, and we can't thank you enough for voting for Travion, not Williams, even though he might have been a golden son of trash man at one point. Travion Henderson to be the next golden son of Roster Watch Nation.